We're seeing now Avodah Hashem is Baruch Daf Chav Gimel Avodah Zarah. Haba b'Shem Rav Amishtarve L'Bayis Asaroi Le'ilon Le'Asaroi. We had before already this halacha. According to Rav, a house is considered talish, considered detached. So if you bow down for a house, it becomes asar. Le'ilon, however, if you bow down for a tree, le'asar. So Gemara asks a question, what Tanina Shalosh Asheros saying? It says that there's three types of Asheros. The Mishnah says later on that Ilon Shanata the Shem Avodah Zarah raise asar. Doesn't mean you bow down for the tree. No. If you bow down for a tree, it doesn't work. So I must say that the sugya before sounds very much that if you do bow down for a sheira, it's considered tfisas yad adam, because the person planted it. But here, the Gemara does not go with this mahalach. Here the Gemara says that a sheira cannot become asr only if when you planted it, you already bow down for it before that. If you just bow down for a sheira, it's not, even though originally it had tfisas yad adam, doesn't become asr. Levi Omar, Mishtach L'Bayis Asar, Ilam Ar Le'Asar, my message is, so he holds that you do make it asr, like Rav, that actually a house you could make asr, like Rav said before. The Mishnah said, if you have a house that is part of it, the wall belongs for you and for the Avodah Zarah. It's like a wall that's dividing between your house and the Avodah Zarah. We're talking here a ger and a nachri that they both they inherited their father. So the father owned these two houses, two apartments, and now he was dedicating one of his houses for idol worship. And now one son is a ger. That's the story. And that's the problem here, that this wall belongs halfway to him and halfway to his brother. That's still keeping it for Avodah Zarah. So that means the wall is half and half. Why doesn't he make the story different? He had a house. And then somebody made a Bais Avodah Zarah close to him, and he somehow used his wall without permission. Nope. Then it doesn't become asr. Don't say that. If the guy moves away, it's nothing. So the only way that it will become asr is if it was originally owned by a person that dedicated his house for Avodah Zarah, and I know it's interesting because if he dedicated both of them, so how does that become mutter? It could be when he dies. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to interpret this halacha here. It sounds here that both houses were owned by Avodah Zarah. When the father dies, the thing that the ger takes over is not that wall becomes halfway mutter. So I don't know how that works. That means that half of the wall is asr. There are three types of houses in regarding to Avodah Zarah. Which one are the three? If you build it right away, the Shem Avodah Zarah. So the Gemara before has a few interpretations what this means. Does it mean that he bowed down for the stones, or he bowed down afterwards? So that's the question. Now, the second case is Siyudei v'chira Shem Avodah Zarah. He plastered it and he decorated it, chidesh, and he made some new stuff there. Noitel masha chidesh. He just takes off, he scrapes off whatever he did, and the whole house becomes mutter. If he just a regular house, he just entered, he put in there idol, and then he took it out, it's nothing. It becomes mutter. Rabbi Yechon Tevayin Omru. Mechna Sasum La'aretz Himas Nita. Idolater Rabbi Yechon the Omar Magdish Bayis Em Alam Boy. Begin, Cain, Ipas Nasa, So, we have here a new interpretation of this Mishnah. What is this bias all about? How does it become Asr? The first case of the Mishnah. So, Rabbi Yochanan says, since he had a problem that a house cannot become Asr. He said before, according to Rabbi Yochanan, if you bow down to a house, nothing happens. So, he said a pshat that you bow down for each stone. That's also a funny story. So he said, I have a better interpretation. The Yidden came to Eretz Yisrael and they took over the houses from the Goyim, that they had houses of worship. Then we understand that these houses are Asr. That's pshat in the Mishnah. I guess the Goyim, they could, since they owned the land, they could make the house Asr. That's the din. While they went into the house of Eretz Yisrael, Hashem said that's this the din, that that even you have a house that a guy built for a house of worship, then you have to destroy it. But Rav, why does he need to say this interpretation? Rav says, so he says, no, it's different. You want to say the Mishnah is such a type of story that's impossible to be mevatel. There's a certain halacha, we learn a lot of it later on, that you can nullify an Avodah Zarah. You can void it. So we say that if a person bows down for a house, there's a way how to make it, how to take away the Isser. You can nullify the Isser. However, if you take over a house that was owned by Goyim before the Yidden went to Eretz Yisrael, such a thing has no bittul. Again, the same thing, because we see in the pasuk, Moshe Rabbeinu told the Yidden, that there's no cure for these houses that the Goyim, the Canaanim worshipped. Now, the Gemara says, how do you nullify a house? Let's assume that after they went to Eretz Yisrael and somebody bowed down into a house and it became Asr. So what does he do? Very interesting. You just have to take away the doorposts, and that's already considered like you nullified it. You have to do some kind, we'll see later on, certain ways how you do bittul. You have to do some kind of action to show that you are disregarding it. Now it goes back to the Reisha, to the first case of the three houses. The first case is Shebenoi Metchil Avodah Zarah. And we don't know exactly how he interprets this. It seems from this, the Gemara doesn't explain what does it mean by Sheben. It seems from his explanation that he understood it means you built a house like we understand the Mishnah. Not that you bow down for the house or you bow down for the stones, or the more simple way. The simplest way to understand this Mishnah is a guy built it like a church. He built a house and he's planning this to be the worship house. Like very natural. That's what I would say normally if you learn the Mishnah without any special interpretations, that's what the Mishnah means. So he says, when do we say that it becomes Asr? The house that you built l'shem, to dedicating, to put in Avodah Zarah, that you have to actually bring in the Avodah Zarah. You built it, and now you actually finished your plan. So, doesn't the Mishnah say in the last story of the house is Hichnes Asoicha Avodah Zarah? So the Mishnah is repeating itself as the same cases. So the Gemara says, Kan l'shoas. Now, in the first case, it means you are planning to build this building and leave an Avodah Zarah here for a long term. In the last case, no, you have a regular house. You just, for a few days, you need a house for the Avodah Zarah. The Avodah Zarah doesn't have where to live, so you need to give him some space. So you put it in the house for a few days. Then the house doesn't become Asr if you take it out later. Shloisha avonim. There's three types of stones that regarding to Avodah Zarah. Even shechatzava metchila lebimus hareizu asura. if you hoot it out from the mountain to use it as a pedestal, it's also, that was your intention. You're going to use this stone as a pedestal. Siyad v'chira l'shem Avodah Zarah. If he plastered it and he adorned it, this stone, l'shem Avodah Zarah, v'chidish, and he made something new, noitel mash chidish. Hem Avodah Zarah v'silka reizum teres. If he just placed an Avodah Zarah on that stone and then right away he takes it off, it becomes mutter. Because he didn't initially, when he took the stone from the mountain, he didn't have an intention that this should be used for Avodah Zarah. Rabbi Hashem Rav, Mizu, from this Mishnah you can learn, Hamatach kois Avodah Zarah nesem yad. If a person melts, he has a silver kois, and he says, he takes silver and he makes it into a nice goblet and says, this is going to be used for Avodah Zarah. It's called hachana. He, in his mind, he's thinking, I'm going to use this. He didn't do anything yet. So the halach is that the mere fact that you had in mind to use it right away makes it aser, nesem yad. Elazar says the same thing. So again he goes, the first case. You hoot it out of the mountain in order to use it for Avodah Zarah. So he says it's only if you actually use it already. This doesn't match up with the statement before. Let's make it together because it doesn't match up. Here we said that even if you didn't use it yet, the fact that you just had intention is enough to make it aser. Machav shitz der Rebbe. Tamani omer mizu amatach kois Avodah Zarah asma yad. Omer hochen. The boom stamshem beinen hemet. Shamsh Avodah Zarah does not become aser unless you actually do it. Pas the law kadein tani tanin tama Avodah Zarah shanacher asura miyad. It says that Avodah Zarah shanacher asura miyad. She Yisrael mishete of it. The day is parasha Mishnah Kifshuto. So it says that the Mishnah says even if you may have tashmish Avodah Zarah, not the Avodah Zarah itself, it becomes aser miyad. Miyad means even before you used it. That's it. He doesn't hold of this shit that says you need to actually put something on this stone. The Gemara asks, what do you mean? No. The one that says it's aser miyad will say even by meshamshem, accessories, right away when you finished it and you had a mind to use it, it becomes aser. So that's the shit that he said before, as that hamatach kois Avodah Zarah nesem miyad, and you don't need to place something on it. It becomes aser right away when you finished making it, preparing the cup, melting the silver and making a cup of Avodah Zarah. Only time it's aser shehem edalei Avodah Zarah. This we had before, right? He's just repeating it again because he wants to ask a question. Doesn't it say there's three types of stones? It's the same answer like before. depends if you put it on for a permanent time. The Mishnah says, Avodah Zarah b'silka reizim teres. That means you didn't really had a mind to use it. You just put it for temporary. But if this was your intention to use it for a pedestal, then it's also, again, it's only if you did it when you took it out of the mountain. Plus, you are putting Avodah Zarah there. That means it's a different type of placing. The Gemara's kasha was the same type of, this you're placing it, and here you're placing it. No, there, that's safer, you're placing it for a short term, but here you're placing it for a long term, because you hewn stone out for Avodah Zarah, and then you placed it. It means it's for a long term. So really, the Gemara's kasha was that it's interesting to go about how to go about the sugya, because what is the Gemara's question? That's the same thing. It's not the same. Before we're talking that you took it out of the mountain, and here you just put it on. So, what was the question, Bichlal? It's two different stories. But the question was that both of them requires you should put something. You should put the Avodah Zarah on the stone. That's both the first case and the third case. The Gemara says even that is not exactly the same thing. Because there, since you took it out of the mountain for this purpose, so it's a long-term thing, you're going to leave the Zarah here forever. In the other case, it's short-term. So even the placing the Avodah Zarah on the stone is not the same story in the first case and the third case. This is how I understand this sugya. I know it's a little bit, it's not so straightforward, but if somebody has a better pshat, please tell me. Okay? This is the end of Chof Gimel.